Well, I mean, part of that, at the core of that, is a trauma response.
Trauma response.
And part of it is the notion of waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's from our ancestry, right?
Yeah.
It was great for a minute, but I got to be ready for the next blow.
I found myself kind of sabotaging my own growth because I remember saying, I don't want to be a leader because I know what comes with the leadership.
Right.
And definitions of power at the start of my life were very negative, right? And I was like, I never want to do that. So I never wanted to be powerful.
Being accomplished doesn't always mean being seen. Today we're talking about the deep human need to be recognized beyond what we produce, and how sisterhood and sacred circles can restore what isolation erodes. My name is Pamela Benson Owens, CEO Sister, and I'm here with two of my favorite human beings on the planet, Nicole and Sharonda.
Hey.
We're back.
We are back.
So let's jump in a little bit about this concept about being seen. But you know me, the way I like to do it. In order for us to go there, we have to first take a step back. Tell me, who saw you first as a child? Who saw you first? How were you first seen? Who was it?
I would say my grandmother on my mother's side. So my mother's mother, she would not let me devalue myself. And this was age 5. By the time I was 5 years old, I had low self-esteem. I had, because I was comparing myself to everyone else, and I didn't see myself reflected like a light-skinned black woman with freckles, black girl with freckles. That they didn't exist in my world. And so I didn't have that identity projected back at me as something that was positive. And so I thought I was ugly. And I told my grandmother that on the way home from church. And she would not let me go in the house. We got out of the car. We were standing on the sidewalk in front of the porch. And she would say to me, "You're a pretty little girl." And I'd be like, "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are." And we fought. It was an epic battle. And I think I gave in because I wanted to get ice cream and get out of my,
right.
Get out of my church clothes. And
right.
Okay, yes, I agree. But I didn't really. But that seed that she planted inside of me, was the first time. Yeah.
Wow. Nicole?
I would say the same thing. My grandmother. I just remember being her right hand. Everywhere she went to church on Saturdays. I had to be at her house on Friday evenings. She was a vegetarian. I remember sitting and eating all these new foods, vegan burgers for the first time, and all the different fruits. And just remembering that I would tell people, we lived on a block where you can see where everybody's turning the corner. It was kind of curved. And I would hear that Volvo hit the corner on Saturday mornings because I was the one that had to go to church with her on Saturday. My brothers could get out of it. And if you remember Saturday mornings, that's when...
Oh, that's when all the cartoons.
All the cartoons came on. Right? Alfalfa.
Absolutely.
But all the things, it was just so many different things that I wanted to do on Saturdays, but that was Grandma's day. And so she would come and get me sometimes Friday evening or Saturday morning. But I just remember always her making sure I was with her, doing whatever it was that she did. And no matter how much my brothers could weasel themselves out of it, she made me a priority. And that meant a lot.
I love that. So we've talked a lot about the fact that as women deeply desire to be seen. We could say heard and respected, but let's just start with seen. In the world that we live in, even that is a feat. Talk a little bit about the first time that you experienced a disconnect in terms of in your professional life around not being seen in a room for who you were and what you brought to the table.
I'm sorry, I'm glitching on this one. Like, I think as a black woman, that happens a lot. That's happened at every stage of my career and my professional experience, like in the workplace. I would say it also happens at home. Like my family, their willingness to support me and love me meant that I had to follow a certain path. Right. And if I wasn't doing what they thought was best for me, then, that little like, okay, get your act together and then come back, kind of thing. And well-meaning. I would just say that and then I would hide myself. I'm an introvert. people I rediscovered that during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm actually an introvert, but because I grew up in a family business, right, and we were at the booth at the conferences, handing out newspapers,
Extroverting.
I was extroverting, right, at a very young age, so I thought that was who I was. But when you talk to my friends in high school, they said I never talked, right? I never spoke. And so I think in a lot of ways, and in my profession, I chose a profession where I'm not in front of the camera. I'm behind the camera helping other people, right? And so I think I chose not to be seen because I got so many messages, right, that whatever I had to offer wasn't really valuable and I didn't know what I was doing or what I was talking about. Yeah.
When I think about professionally, I'm reminded of when I started really accelerating and thriving. I share I was in the direct sales industry, and I was one of those people when I first got introduced to that industry. I did everything from the internet, so they didn't know who I was. I joined a company, and this is when YouTube was just forming back in 2008, 2009. I had been doing things for other people. I kind of mastered online marketing, and I realized like the stuff that people were doing in person, traveling all over the country, doing all these meetings. I was like, no, I could do some videos. I could generate some leads and I can close deals. And I did. I started really just going all in on the internet marketing method, and I blew up really fast. But I did not participate in any company, anything. So I never flew to the company events. I never participated in the calls or any of that. I was just doing my own thing. And I remember I had hit like one of the top ranks, and they were like, this is mandatory. You actually have to come. And I was like, okay. And so I remember going to this event, and I saw a bunch of people, and I just slid through the door. I had my laptop everywhere I went, my little computer. That was my boyfriend was with me. And I was on the computer, and I'm just watching everybody talk. And then people started walking up to me. They were like, who are you? Like, why are you in this room? And I was like, oh, I'm Nicole. And they was like, Nicole who? Nicole Cooper. And they were like, oh my God, you're the person everybody been trying to figure out who you are. And I was like, oh yeah, I build businesses on the internet. And so, from that moment, of course, everybody in the beginning loves you and they're curious and we want you to teach us. But then after a while, when you start doing too well or dominating too much, then everybody turns on you. And what I found is in every company I ended up in, I became an enemy because I was doing things a different way, because I was super unconventional on how I built my business. And a lot of other people were just envious or whatever it was, but sabotage started coming. And I had 2 back-to-back occurrences come from owners where they just, in my face, did some things to try to shut down my business, to undercut me and what I was doing. And it was a realization that everybody does not cheer for you when you're winning. And that was one of the first times where I was like, okay, I really have to pick which rooms I'm in and where I place my value.
Right.
Because as much as I was helping to build up these organizations and, being on their calls, training their people and just being a support system, I was constantly being put in positions where they were trying to undercut me. And so that was when I started realizing like, whoa, this is an ugly game at the top. And it made me stop wanting to be so visible. I found myself kind of sabotaging my own growth because I remember saying, I don't want to be a leader because I know what comes with the leadership.
Right.
That once you start getting to the top of something, now all eyes are on you and everybody's trying to dictate how you can show up. So I remember that shift happening for me where I started shrinking back, playing smaller, shooting lesser goals, and not really wanting to accelerate in my success.
Yeah. Protecting yourself.
Protecting
right?
myself,
Because who wants to fight and be undercut?
Right.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
attorneys and everything.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
It's crazy.
So there's been a phenomenon for a while about bringing your whole self forward, bringing your
Wait a minute. I
whole
want to hear
self
your
to
story.
work.
You're not going to just ask all the questions.
Tell us, ma'am.
What was the first one?
in your professional journey?
First being seen, and then
I have not fully accomplished that. I've only experienced seen up until.
okay.
Got a
Which
cap on
means?
it. Meaning seen up until you really knock it out of the park or excel beyond somebody's comfort level or course correct something that's not great in an organization. So I have not experienced a full experience in that, except probably in this setting with y'all, to be honest. So that piece has really informed me. And about the idea around like survival and protection, we would not be sitting here if we weren't able to flex that muscle. It is a critical component for Black women, especially CEOs, to be able to survive in the space, to be able to do that. But for me, my experience is always up until I really, the third time they ask me my opinion and I actually say it, then it's a problem. And so that's been a really interesting experience because it's given me staying power. But in the last couple of years, I've just gotten tired of that piece and have just opted in for something different. And that has meant being seen for me sometimes means leaving the room. Not all money's good money. I don't want to be in that space. Mm-hmm. The cost to show up the way you want me to is too expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Turning my podcast around on me. So
Calling you out.
really? So talk to me a little bit about this conditioning around, for specifically women, around not really verbalizing or naming your talents and skills. That there's some kind of conditioning that happens around remaining humble and palatable and acceptable. So I am in a really gifted spot because I get to be alongside the two of you often, and I fully see you. So Nicole and Sharonda, talk about what you see in you.
Pass.
I'm like, here we go.
Can I pass?
So let me just give a commercial break here. This podcast is inspired from our mastermind, y'all. And this is a mastermind-like question, right? Where you're running from yourself, or we shrink back or play small, and then we call each other out.
Yeah.
And I think this is such a great question because it makes us have to be honest publicly about how we view ourselves. So I think that Sharonda is the perfect person to get us started.
But let me see what she did. Yeah.
With this
We call that the strategic pass.
with the amazing question.
Yeah, but before you
Goodness.
answer this, I want to say this because it's important to say that even after you've done all the work and you've done all the growth, you've gone to the mountainside and down, you've come back on the train, you've done all the things, it's so pervasive in the ways in which we have to hide, dim, readjust, and code switch that we do it with such a level of automaticity and unconsciousness.
Right.
So even when I sat down today to do this podcast, y'all are not sitting the way y'all normally sit. That's why I'm calling us in.
Again.
You're
here
real
we go.
formal. You're in a way, you're just sitting differently than how we normally sit when we talk. So I want to just say that even with the best of tools, even with the
Right.
real,
We slip
it's so easy to slip
pervasive.
back in unfamiliar territory and look at us in familiar territory.
Right.
Because now we're doing this podcast and we're formalizing some of these things that we do in our mastermind, and it's so easy. So I'm asking you, as somebody that gets to witness and walk alongside you and frankly do life with you,
Sure.
I absolutely see you. And I want you to just talk about what you see in you.
Okay. Well, thank you for that permission because I don't think I've ever really been asked that question before, particularly at this stage in my life. Like, who am I, and how do I see myself? So, at the very core of my being and my knowingness, I see myself as that child who was placed here on earth to just be joyful and to play in the grass and with the flowers and look at the sky and watch the clouds go by and dream and not even know it's dreaming, because that's just life, right? And to come home when it's time for dinner, right?
Street lights came on.
The street lights come on. But I see myself as a child of God. I see myself as someone who is really strong and courageous around topics that are hard for most people. I see myself as a survivor in the best sense, that the trauma and issues that I dealt with as a child and growing up were really hard for me and really challenging for me, but they gave me a foundation that I value, because when, and this is going to sound, I'm just going to say it, the childhood experiences that I had are less difficult and less challenging than taking myself on, right? So it feels to me like what I went through prepared me to be able to say, okay, Sharonda, if you want this, if you want to become this, then draw the strength and from the ability to persevere and to not lose sight of the truth of who you are, and not lose sight of the fact that there is something, and you call it a calling, right? There is a bigger vision for your life. So I see myself as immensely capable of being able to create what I desire for my life. And I see myself as immensely loving, because I take stock each day of all of the thoughts, feelings, and choices that I've made. And I evaluate, who am I and how can I be better at this? How can I be better at loving? I see myself as someone who makes music in life. Yeah.
Love that.
Wow.
I love that.
Can we talk about the business version of you?
Oh, the business version of me.
Can we pull out the choppers on how you boss all the way up, build brands, close major deals while you are in your luxe life? How you travel immensely, how you eat a wonderful elaborate foods,
yes, that's fun.
How you land clients in your robe on the couch.
That's right. Well, I think to whom much is given, much is required, right? And I have been blessed to grow up in a family of entrepreneurs and to be shaped and molded, right? And so I tell people that I got my MBA by the time I left high school, by the time I left home. Like, I was in the business helping to run it and come from that tradition. And so the business piece was interesting to me, because what I now understand and how I see myself is I'm here to usher in a new way of doing business, right? And that's what CEO Sisters about. We don't have to recreate either war or slavery, which is what most business does. Like, we're fighting and competing when we should be collaborating, and we're oppressing the people that we work with, right? For the benefit of a bottom line or for the benefit of some sort of recognition. And I have fought this, y'all. I have fought, like, I've never said that aloud, but I have fought this calling that, that's what I'm here to do, because there have been years where I have woken up each day and go, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is too hard. This is too much. And it will not let me go. And so I had to make peace with myself and peace with my God and peace with my vision, that I am equipped for this, that I am built for this, and that in the space of business, I get to shape the next generation, because I believe that the philosophy, the ideas, the practices are ahead of their time, right? And that the young people that are coming are going to require environments where they get to literally, we talk about bringing your whole self to work.
Right.
But we really aren't equipped for that.
We're not.
Our leaders aren't equipped
The
for it.
infrastructure's not
The
built for it.
infrastructure is not there, right? You do HR,
Yes.
so you deeply understand this. And so I feel like I have come to create a foundation and systems whereby we can stop killing each other
Right.
at work.
Right.
So that's who I am.
There
Absolutely.
we go. There we go.
Thank you.
Rolling in the grass
Get it.
and the lily.
Now I
fields.
gotta- yeah.
I'm a flower
I'm gonna have to go into some of our favorite CEO sister because we're literally modeling. Like this is exactly
Our
how it
call.
happens.
Yeah.
This is how this happens.
Wow.
Yes.
Nicole.
Yes.
What do you see in you?
You know, I think of some keywords. I feel like I'm an atmosphere shifter.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I am called for such a time as this to really help transform, create a movement. And that movement is about alignment and purpose, assignment, calling, but also doing it in a way where it's not segmented. I think one of the biggest challenges, and we talked about this, in the video that we watched that you shared today, how we compartmentalize our lives.
Right.
We try to be somebody at work versus who we are at home versus who we are with friends versus who we are. And I'm called to help people to align mind, body, spirit, and soul. Like, who are you really? Who has God called you to be? What are you called to do? And how do you take ownership and authority over that on the earth in such a way that it creates transformation? And so I think about a radical movement. You know, that's what I'm here and called to create. And so my journey here is being a vessel. It's like whatever God wants me to embody to display who he is in us. That's what I'm called to create.
I love that. I, again, just feel so gifted in the space with you to get to see y'all a lot. Can you just talk about what parts of you do you wish more people got to see? I'm nailing these questions today,
I
baby.
mean, is it over yet?
I was like, Oprah has entered the building. And we are on Super Soul Sunday.
Wow.
What parts of
me
you
that
do you wish people got to see more of? Pass.
I think for you, Sharonda, you're exploring.
You can't answer for somebody else, Nicole.
Right.
In the mastermind, you can't answer for somebody else.
Fun.
What
Yeah.
parts of me? I hope that there's a timer on this, right? Like when they edit it, they say, how long did it take for her to answer this question? I'm tap dancing right now. What parts of me do I hope?
Do you wish more people would see?
That I'm really just a cool chick who's a nerd. You know, who likes to dig deep into things and figure stuff out and gets really excited by the little details in life. I hope people get to see my love of food, right, and nourishment. Like that is so deeply ingrained in my experience with the farm and the gardens and the kitchens and you know. My family, I come from a family of great cooks.
But I think the pieces of you that have been highly nourished and the way in which you make sustenance so sacred is ever present in all your work.
Yeah. I would like people to see that I'm a poet. And I'm an artist.
For real.
That I'm creative, right?
What?
I know. That was the funniest thing. We were Nick, we were paint and sipping.
Pam with a twist. I was having them paint on my backboard.
Right. At her house. And Pam was sitting next to me and I was on my little canvas. And I leaned over to Pam and I said, Pam, I think I might be creative. This was last year.
And I was like, what tipped you off? Where you been?
I think I might be
But she was
creative.
so immersed in her work.
Right.
Like she nobody else was there. And I mean, she had her head a kind of way. And I'm like, she is completely embodying this. She's like, I think I might be creative. And I thought, Really?
And I expect
Aren't you
that 'cause
sharp
you're a
today?
lefty.
I'm a lefty.
Oh, okay.
Lefties
okay.
are
Yeah.
usually
Yeah,
super
that was a revelation
creative.
moment for
But I
her.
segmented. I thought that if you that art was only if you could draw, right? And if you could do if you could read music, and
Right,
like
right.
that kind. I didn't
Right.
know that business could also be art. That relationships could also be art. Like ideas could be art. I didn't.
Problem solving
Problem
is art.
solving is art, and
It
that
is
takes
a art.
immense creativity.
Yes.
And I will be like, oh well, you only have to do this, this, and this.
All
It's
you
so
gotta do
clear
is,
to
right?
me,
Yeah.
right when there's a problem.
Right.
So I'll tell you all the funniest thing. I love when when necklaces get coiled up, like they get all tangled up. It's one of the most fun because I just work with it and it just falls into place. And I'm like, does everybody do that?
No.
No.
Not at all.
Nobody.
It's so easy for me.
Nobody.
So if you have a
So
tangled necklace,
satisfying.
that's
Yeah.
so random, right?
Retirement plan.
But like the problem, right? I stay with it long enough and it works itself out.
You can start a business called Untangled.
Untangled.
Yeah.
Untangled.
Yes.
Untangled.
I love it.
All right. You ready now?
And the question is,
Are you ready?
Can you repeat
What?
the question for me?
Parts of you do you wish people saw more of?
I think one of the things that I really want people to experience more of is the teaching of complex things and making them simple. I think like what Sharonda's talking about, this untangled life. I think we all naturally have these things that we just lean into that become mastery for us, that you only get it if you're in sacred circles. I feel like that's something you both have pulled out of me tremendously, because I'm a mom all the time. They don't want to hear any of this philosophical problem solving circumstantial mess. As
Right.
a matter of fact, it's annoying. And Mom, can you stop?
Right.
But I do the teaching side, but also the fun, goofy, playful side.
Yeah.
Like, I think we get into this world of professionalism and then we get all uptight and we button up our shirts and serious all the time, and the atmosphere is tense and everything is chop, chop, chop. It's a deadline, it's a timeline, it's a push. But the fun, silly, free, playing in the grass and rolling and, just being playful at heart and going back to joy, just representing joy in your life. So I feel like that part of me I would love to bring out more.
Look at Pam over here looking like a proud mama.
How about you?
Yes, tell us about you.
Because I am a proud mama. I think I share with y'all that I took a trip with my two children in December. And it was the first time that I had traveled internationally with just them and me. And I found myself doing what I always do, which is over-indexing the tour guide, logistic, person, all the snack bags, all the things. I got to day 3, and my oldest said, "Mom, we're good. You had us travel early. Like, we don't need you to do the thing." And then what emerged after that I wish people got to see more of is that in my most comfortable and relaxed state, I am constantly giggling. I can find joy in a Rice Krispie treat. Like, I don't need a lot, right? Like, me drinking my first cup of coffee is a spiritual experience. Like, I really find just pure joy in very simple things. And by the time the momentum kicked up on that trip, there's some footage of me just skipping down the middle of Disney Paris with my ears on. Aww. And when I got to the end of the row, my oldest said, "I have not seen this since we were kids." Babies, when I used to get on the floor with them. And so I wish people could see more. I feel like I'm always having to be wrapped tight so that it doesn't unravel.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time making sure it doesn't unravel, because I'm known for getting it right.
Well, you're handling like large organizations and their people resources, and so you've got to be tight and on point.
Complex.
It's
Think
a
wrong.
regulated industry,
Yeah.
right? There are consequences
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
decisions that get made.
Right.
Yeah,
If
no,
I advise
get it.
wrong, it's a lawsuit.
That's right.
I mean, so I did not realize how much of the unseen I carry in my body. Like even my posture changed.
Like they say, your body keeps score.
Your body keeps score. So yeah, I want to unleash more of that.
Yeah.
So to the opposite of that, what parts of you, because let's be clear, as Black female CEOs, the unseen piece is part of the construct that you said, like we experience that all the time.
Right.
But sometimes we'll use it. We'll use being unseen. So what parts of you do you keep hidden that you're afraid for people to see?
The famous slide.
What question? Where did you get these questions from? Oh my goodness. Okay, I
What
have
do
to
you
answer
keep
first.
hidden?
Don't let me prep on a podcast on the
You
treadmill.
can go in first. I don't mind
Eyelashes.
going.
Okay.
I can go. I think one of the things that I have
Messed up my outfit.
that I have kept hidden is my gifts and my talents. I think I have downplayed so much of myself because of the prior experiences, right? When you get in environments where being seen almost starts working against you, right?
Yeah.
You start shrinking back, and then I've learned that I don't say much. Like Sharonda had to call me, ask me like, who are you? What do you do? Because I don't go around. Most people think that I'm just this random person flying all over Austin, shooting videos and picking up kids like a soccer mom. Like, and I would tell people, like, most people don't have any idea who I am. If you didn't follow me on social media, you just wouldn't know who I was. Because when I'm around you, I don't say much. I don't talk about much. And it was kind of one of those forced into keeping your mouth muzzled, right? In certain environments. So I've kept that hidden for a while, and then being with the two of you, there's no more of that. I have been graciously forced to come out of that shell. But I think some of the other things that I keep hidden inside of me is the fun, playful part. Like, as much as I feel like that's something that should be seen, I think there is something happened where when I became in business and in leadership, I feel like I lost my joy. I didn't.
So.
I think that everything became a goal and striving for an achievement. So I didn't give myself permission to celebrate. We've talked about that,
Yep.
right? And I had somebody say this to me the other day. She said, Nicole, I watch you. She said, I follow you on social, and I don't even do much on my social pages. It's all in my stories. So if you don't catch it in 24 hours, you won't really know what I'm doing. She said, I follow you in your stories. And she was like, you do so much. She said, but do you ever just stop to celebrate your wins?
Wow.
She said, because I don't ever see you celebrate. I see you go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And I was like, I said, no, I don't even know how to celebrate. I said, to me, it's just been that. You finished that? Okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? And so even learning how to celebrate, I don't know how to celebrate. I think I almost feel awkward if I'm being celebrated because it's just been forced habit to just keep striving to the next goal,
Right.
and the next goal.
Well, I mean,
and the
part of
next
that, at the
goal.
core of that, is a trauma response.
Trauma response.
And part of it is the notion of waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's from our ancestry, right?
Yeah.
How it was great for a minute, but I got to be ready for the next blow,
Yeah.
right? So we hold it. And so what's been sad about that is that it is eliminated celebration. And so I think that's what's so important about having a CEO sister circle
Yeah.
is that we have to embed that in
A ritual.
these moments and really standardize it, or we continue to perpetuate the survival pieces that we are really trying to not
That's right.
replicate.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. The survival pieces.
Yeah. Sharonda?
What was the question again? In all seriousness,
The question was, what parts of you do you keep hidden and unseen that you are afraid for people to see?
So about 12 years ago, I had a hysterectomy. And when I had that surgery, my body changed, and I wasn't prepared for that mentally, emotionally, physically. I was, because it was alleviating fibroids, right? And so I struggle with my body, right? And I struggle with the changes that my body is going through as I age. And I don't want people to see that struggle. Like, I don't want people to see, like, I'm not the heaviest I've ever been, but I'm heavier than what I would like to be, like physically in my weight. And I don't like that. And so I have all kind of hoists and garters and, corsets and things to, like,
as my mother says, apparati.
Apparati to, like, keep it together. Because
keep what together?
Keep my body tight, right? And there's part of me that isn't willing to honor the idea of aging and aging gracefully, right? And I look at pictures of myself, Facebook memories, from 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And I'm like, ooh, I thought I was fat then. I had this body image.
No men are sitting around on a podcast even bringing that up.
I know.
Isn't that interesting?
It's because it's so deeply embedded.
Yes.
It's so deeply embedded. And so I don't want people to see my body. I mean, if I'm honest with you.
Wow. Right?
And because it's not the image that I've been told is the right image, right? For what I should be. And I don't have, and God bless Oprah Winfrey. Like God bless her for her journey.
Talk about doing it on blast.
Globally.
Front and center.
And so I have to, like, keep looking at her and going, okay, it's okay. You're going to be okay, because there's this powerful, beautiful, smart Black woman who has taken her body and all the messages that have been told to her and gets completely not allowed that to be her narrative anymore, right? And so that's part of what I think my big shift is in this year, is really, again, taking myself on in that way and doing it in a loving way,
right?
And not, I'm gonna wrestle myself to the ground or whip myself into shape,
with compassion, self-compassion.
But how do I love every version of myself?
Right.
Because if I'm honest with myself, I haven't been capable of doing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I mean, again, for women, the conditioning on top of everything else, then there's all these norms around what we're supposed to look like. Not just how we show up in the room, but what we have to look like. I mean, that is, I was thinking about, we've been doing this work the other day when I could not go on the podcast because my breast fell below the line. Poor Danny. And so I was trying to get them up into the set.
A hoist.
I was trying to get but
bring in the crew.
But the part that's funny is the crew, the Sisterhood was like, oh, and like you're on one strap trying to hoist it. What a beautiful, right? Like, I don't have to toe the line alone, right?
Yeah.
Even in that moment of, frankly, feeling uncomfortable about myself.
Do your tits hang low?
Yeah.
To and fro.
Yes. But y'all were trying to, the sacred circle.
It's how my brain works.
Saw me enough, as she does the song, saw me enough to be like, we're not going to let you go out like that. Baby, we got to hoist these suckers up to this set. By the time we started, they were
Let's
above
get it above the line. Above the line.
We're above the line,
above
baby.
the line, please. Hold the line.
But I mean, y'all didn't flinch.
We didn't.
So what is it? But what does it feel like then to be around a circle or women who allow you to be fully seen versus a circle that does not?
I think it's the freedom to be fully in your power, and to know that, for me, I always am concerned, like, am I going to hurt somebody, right? Because I have been in situations where powerful people have hurt me. And so my patterning and definitions of power at the start of my life were very negative, right? And I was like, I never want to do that. So I never wanted to be powerful. So I struggled with that for a very long time.
Wow.
It's like, no, I'm a powerful woman, right? I'm a powerful person. Oh my God. Okay. And so, do we have tissue? We're going to need the tissue.
I didn't know you made it through that last part. It can't always be the strategic hold,
Yeah.
right? It can't.
Add that to the list. Tissue box in the room.
Yeah. I would just say to you that your whole answer about my body was shaking while you were talking.
And that's so important.
Everybody's
dealing with that.
Yeah.
My body was shaking.
Thank you.
And how
Yes,
much
perfect.
time I've spent allowing that to hold me captive, right? Instead of saying this body produces eyebrows and arms, and I produce children out of
Right.
this sucker.
Right.
It has carried me far.
Right.
And carried a ton of people.
When it gets quiet at night, that's what comes.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
so talk a little bit about the power dynamic that you're describing, about not wanting to be powerful.
Well,
and
yeah, because some of my first experiences with power were people who hurt me. And so that was then my definition. It was like, oh, if you're powerful, you get to do that.
ooh,
Like, that's what you get to do.
right,
wow.
right.
And so I had to really work with, so I never wanted to be powerful, and I never wanted to be seen, but I've always been powerful, right? I've
Right.
always been really clear
Right.
about what it is that I see, and I've always spoken to it. And so when I recognized that I conflated power with pain, I had to work out of that. I had to work through therapy, failed relationships. Like, I had to really work through those things because the definition was wrong. And I think it's really important as leaders that we take from our experiences, but then we define for ourselves who we are and what that means. And so now I define power as the ability to do, and the ability to give, and the ability to contribute.
Beautiful.
And it's still like, your body keeps score. It is a constant process for me and a constant journey for me. But yeah, I don't know what the question was, but that was my answer.
It was a good answer. It was a good answer. I'm almost speechless because I'm just
Sure.
thankful that I get to experience y'all in this stage. It's so life-giving and affirming. I just want to say that. So, final question.
Well, I didn't get to share.
Oh, you didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry,
break.
Nicole.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, can you repeat the question again?
The question was,
Sorry.
when you experience being seen in a sacred sister circle, what does it look and feel like versus when you do not?
I didn't answer that question. So you answer it.
Come back around, Sharonda.
So what's funny is I have to go back and assess every circle, and not every circle is designed
For it.
Yeah, not every circle is safe.
That's part of our mistake, though.
Yeah,
That we think every circle's safe.
I realize that there's a lot of circles that I'm in that I might be their safety, but they're not mine.
Would you like some tissue?
How much time would I have saved if I could have figured that out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned very early on, I might be your source of support, but that doesn't mean you're mine. It doesn't mean that it's reciprocity in that relationship. Some people, God just planted you there to be their source of guidance, but that doesn't mean that they're your intimate safe space. So
I'm trying not to break into a Negro spiritual, which is what I do when I'm nervous.
So yeah, and I think yeah, but I had to learn that. And
How many times did it take you before you mastered that?
it's been a lifetime.
See? Ooh.
It's been a lifetime. I think that there are different places and spaces that you're in to develop your ability to understand how to become that. Yeah. Because you realize how unsafe a lot of circles are. I mean, God, I'm trying to think. I can only think of a handful where there has been real safety and support. So I can say that I've censored myself a lot around a lot of circles. I get in certain circles, and some circles I don't say nothing. I'm just an observer, right? But I don't come in there hoping and wishing to force a relationship either. If things don't organically build, I'll say hi and bye, smile at you, and I'm out the door. But when you do find those sacred places, then it becomes a sense of like refuge. Yes. But you're going to find that it's going to be few and far in between. And I even think about Jesus and the 12 disciples. He had 3 that he took with him, right? You're not going to find a vast amount of people that get you, understand you, or desire to, you know, because I test people. I throw a little something out there and see what their response is. Yeah. And if they brush it off and they just jump and skip and then start going back to something else, I'm like, oh yeah, this is not it. And so I've found that when I do find that, and I think this is probably one of the first ones that I've had in a very long time, but when you find it, you savor it, but you also heavily support it to maintain the integrity of it, to make sure that the reciprocity is there, to ensure that it's like you let it organically happen. You don't want to force that either, but you give yourself permission to lean into it. You remove the bracing, right? Because if I think about how I am in a lot of uncomfortable settings, when I say uncomfortable, my spirit is like, this is not, don't get settled here. Right. Like, you have people in your life for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. You have people in your life for specific assignments. And I'll let the spirit lead me on how to connect and how to build and savor certain relationships. And so I've just learned that when you find those few, you put extra effort into building them because they're very sacred and they're few and far in between.
Wow.
I'm in awe of the fact that you all would expose yourself, right, in this way and be seen in this way. Do you get that? Like, what we're doing is sharing at a level where most people won't ever experience. Well, they won't have. Right?
Right.
Like fact checking,
right,
gut checking in real time. And the vulnerability around that and the power in that, like being seen at this level. I ran from this my entire life. So I'm just realizing in this moment, this is incredible. Like, what are we doing?
And it's a gift.
Right?
It's a gift.
It's also a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For people to hear it and weaponize it. And misuse it.
Yeah.
It's a risk for us as entrepreneurs, for sure. Right? But I've just decided that I don't want to phone it in.
Yeah.
I don't want to be fraudulent. I spend a lot of time performing. And I'm willing, I don't want to do it that way. Yeah. I spent most of my life growing up being the one that wasn't picked. So if you ever notice when you're in an event with me, you will always notice that I have my bag ready to go and I am the closest chair to the door. Watch me next time. I never sit inside the room totally. I'm always on the fringe so I can get out quickly.
And why is that?
Because I've always been rejected. And so before you don't pick me, I'll self-select out. Before I feel rejection from you in the room, I will eject
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Always my strategy. You
Yeah.
just notice I never sit in the inner. If we're at a table, I'm never sitting in the inner seat. I'm gonna be on the edge because I got to be ready to go. I'm going to take myself out. I'm gonna make myself unseen.
Yes.
Before you unsee me.
Be dismissive of me.
Of course. Yeah, I fight it every day.
Which is interesting because you're often the one with the mic in your hand.
Right.
Yeah. Explain how that works.
I'm an introvert,
Yes.
but I can engage in a space. When I'm up talking, I don't really see people in the room.
Yeah. I understand that.
I can engage a room, but I don't see the people in the room.
Yeah.
I have to go into an alternate
Yes, I
alternate
understand
universe
that.
for which to do it.
Yeah.
And that's that spiritual piece. That's the piece that
Yeah.
comes in spiritually. And so a lot of times when I'm done, I can't tell you what I said.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
But in those spaces, and y'all know this, that I know a lot of people, but a lot of people don't know me. Right? No. Know me. Know me.
Know you.
Know of me,
Know of you, yes.
but know me. And when you're in room speaking, you create warmth. So they think they know you from a couple stories. They don't really know you.
Yeah.
And so, I definitely use being unseen as a crutch.
Yeah.
My two best plays are being underestimated and unseen.
So, what would the world look like if you were fully seen and fully loved and appreciated for who you are?
Well, Sharonda, this is my podcast.
The mastermind just
And
came
I
out.
and I don't have to answer that. What would the world look
Yeah.
like if I was fully
Mm-hmm.
seen?
Because you said that, people weaponize. It's a big risk. And I agree with you, right? But what if the opposite were true?
I would be uncensored, unfiltered, radically supportive and joyful, and comfortable in my skin.
Yeah.
I wake up every day trying to get there.
Well, we want you to live there.
Y'all are helping me get there.
We want you to live there because you embody everything that you are thinking you're working towards. What do you always say?
Right. Yeah.
You're not
If you can see it in others, right, then you have it in yourself.
like you're. What you say,
Oh,
it's not
the becoming. Yeah, you're there. You're it.
Yeah.
You're just choosing it.
You are already the
Yeah.
being. It's not any work that you have to do for the
That's right.
becoming. You just have to own
Choose it.
your being.
Just choose it.
Yeah.
Well, audience, I'm the Scorpio in the group, and I'm the ironclad one. They
It's
tried to
over.
take me out on that
Podcast
last
is
part. They
over.
almost got me on that last part. But you were never, ever meant to be alone, which is what we are figuring out. I'm glad we figured it out before it was too late. It's never too late. If you felt something unlocking you in this moment today, that's your reminder that visibility and safe community among sisters or whatever that is for you will change everything. Thank you so much for tuning in to CEO Sisters Podcast. Until next time.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.